Welcome to Stockton Hall, the home of Greenall Guerriero Racing. Oliver Greenall, Josh Guerriero, already a two-time Cheltenham Festival winning trainers. They could make it three. They've got two live chances. We're here this morning, Frankie, to see Iroko and Jagwar put through their paces.
Yeah, I was going to say four, but if they both end up in the same race, then it can only be one extra winner for the team. I can't wait to go and speak to them, to be honest, because they're both fascinating contenders, entering that realm of almost a graded horse, still in a handicap, both with Cheltenham Festival form. I think they're both fascinating runners, and the guys do a great job down here. So come and have a look with us, I think.
Yeah, we'll go and see them out on the gallops, and we'll hear from both Ollie and Josh on their chances at the Cheltenham Festival 2026. Hello and welcome, a very special episode of The Road to Cheltenham. Obviously Frankie Foster is alongside me. Sadly no Joel, but don't worry, we've got a couple of very special guests. I'm delighted to say we are here at Stockton Farm where Oliver Greenall and Josh Guerriero have had a real good start to their training career. Obviously it's a few years old now, including two Cheltenham Festival winners, both of which we hope to see at the festival this year as well. Thanks for having us here, gents. I'll start with you, Josh, first. I mean, obviously you've had two winners. Just talk me through Iroko and that initial win and just what it feels like to get a Cheltenham Festival winner.
We always say we're both there, and it's obviously it was such a blur the first time, but incredible. He sort of looked like he was beat coming up the turning into the straight, and then two have split, and he's ground his way up between them and got up on the line. We looked around as soon as he crossed the line. We were looking around for each other, and obviously just both disappeared into the crowd and couldn't find each other. So it was just the whole thing was mad, but incredible.
And then, Ollie, obviously Jaguar, you've said before, you could appreciate that more because I know the pressure was off your first ones in, you really appreciated the second win.
Yeah, exactly. It was just a whirlwind when Iroko won. But yeah, Jaguar was just the build-up and everything. Yeah, I can't say it was better, but yeah, we could really take it in and you understand that you've really got to enjoy those moments because they don't just happen every year. We're very lucky to have two, but you've got to really enjoy it. To have both horses like that, it's just amazing.
How much did you fancy your chances going into both?
Jaguar was a lot shorter price.
The thing with Jaguar, yeah, because he'd won his two previous, he won on trials day, he went there short price favourite, so he was not expected because it's a Cheltenham Festival, but there was a bit more pressure. But I got a lot more satisfaction out of Jaguar just because the first time almost didn't feel a fluke because we were having winners, but doing it again felt like actually, yeah, we've planned it, it's come off and we can do it. Whereas the first time you just thought, oh, maybe we just got lucky.
Mm-hmm. It's nice, isn't it? Between us all here, train two Cheltenham Festival winners.
There's none of this so for me. I feel very at home here, but there's no festival winners.
No, there isn't. Obviously going into this year now, you're obviously against the big boys, you're into staying chasing. We'll start with Jaguar because obviously we were originally looking at maybe the Plate or the Ultima. He looked like he's going to the Ultima. I'll start with you, Ollie. How is he now?
Yeah, he's in great form. He's obviously had a good season without winning. He just obviously carrying a lot more weight than he was last year. His jumping's improved. He settles a lot better. And I think he's definitely ready to go up in trip. We were always sort of slightly keeping him to the 2.5 trip just because he was too keen. But actually now he's settled nicely. I mean, we're almost maybe put some cheek pieces on him. He's almost gone the other way, which is good. I think the extra distance, if we did go for the Ultima, will just help his jumping really. Just everything should happen a bit slower and just allow him just to take his time and just jump a little bit better. But yeah, either trip, he's in great form. He put up a great performance last time with a load of weight. So yeah, looking forward to it.
And you've been looking forward to stepping up in trip. How much of an influence is the Plate now switching from the new course onto the old course?
Yeah, it makes it even sharper than it was last year, which probably isn't ideal. So that probably is a factor. And he's ready to go up in trip. I'd say Jondra's always said it. He's bred to stay. Obviously if you wait too long, you could be creeping up the weights without using that improvement. So I think it is the time's right to have a go.
Are you happy with his mark? I know you'd always want to carry less weight, but do you feel that?
That we've all.
Do you feel that it's a fair assessment and it gives you a good chance based on how you know he might perform versus what he's rated?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's always like the pundits etc. say, oh, he's definitely going to improve for going up in trip. Nobody knows that yet. We wait and see. I think he will, and especially like I say, he's relaxed. So if he could do what he was doing off his mark over 2.5, then if he can eke out a bit more improvement go up in trips, I'm sure he will. So. Yeah, his mark's fair, but you're going up another 5 or 6. then that's a different story. You know, you're getting into sort of graded race territory then.
Josh, at the beginning of the season, you were thinking potentially, you told us, hopefully he could turn into a graded horse. So you still potentially got that graded horse in a handicap theory.
Yeah, hopefully. And also, he was improving rapidly last season, and he's probably just slowed up his improvement. I still think he probably is improving a little bit, but just not quite as quick as he was. The horses probably haven't really been firing all since December. So his last 2 runs was when not many of the others were running that well. So he could come forward from that just for yard form. And actually last time I thought it was a great run. The 2 of them were sort of 2 lengths clear of the third at the last, and then the pair of them were sprinted up the hill, and they've gone 15 lengths clear of the third. So it's not like he hasn't finished well. He's finished really well, and the other horse has just been tough, and we obviously gave it a lot of weight. So I think he's still improving for sure, and hopefully we can get there.
And no disappointment that he didn't get past him. I know Donica's he's battle hardened anyhow, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we were gutted, yeah. But it's just one of those things, racing sometimes. I thought maybe if we'd have gone a length clear when he was travelling 2 out, whether he just would have kept himself in front. I always think after the last, if you're just a little bit down when you're helping them along, especially a horse like Donica who's tough and race hardened, you're just helping him along a little bit. The 2 of them finished quickly, so I think he ran a good race.
That's what I said. There's nothing ungainly because you pulled miles clear of the third, and he's getting bigger and bigger as the line came. I mean, we've seen him this morning, Jagwar. He's gorgeous. He's
massive.
Huge.
Yeah, he's a
Even
big boy.
Out of place on top of him.
No, he is. And even watching him go around the gallop, I thought he just moves beautifully, doesn't he? Nice big horse. You can see how well he travels. So, yeah, I guess you just want to be turning for home with a chance, don't you? And meeting the last well, really. Yeah, do you spend much time looking at the rest of the field?
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. That's sort of, when you're looking at declarations, that's what you're doing all morning and the day before, talking to agents and seeing who's running and what races. And then when you know what you're taking on, you've gone through their form already pretty much, because you've been seeing whether you want to take them on, and that's part of placing them really.
Who worries you?
It depends. In the Ultima, depends if Iroko takes him on. Well, Wendigo was one, obviously, but he sounds like he might go for the novice. There's what's it called? I can't think. One of Gordon's that is a graded horse over hurdles. Won a Grade 1 novice. Can't think what it's called now, but he's in the Ultima. He's not off a bad mark, and there's always a couple lurking like that.
Well, the Irish got a dreadful record. Don't worry about them. A dreadful record in the race, haven't they?
If Iroko's his biggest danger, that's a nice position to be in.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, yeah, exactly.
Well, let's talk about that then, because obviously there's a little bit of a curve, but obviously you thought he was going to Kelso. The decision we made, he's going to go obviously to the festival now. First of all, how's Iroko in his well-being?
Yeah, really good. Looks amazing. He seems to have been a different horse this season. Since he's had his wind up, he seems just a lot more comfortable throughout his races. He jumps better. He's travelling in a straight way. He used to hang a little bit left all the time, and whether that was just his wind, because he's not doing that now. Just generally looks stronger. Yeah, he's very good. He seems really well at home. It looks like he's going to go to Cheltenham now.
And Ollie, look at his form. He's finished second to, I know the way you're thinking, a Gold Cup winner. He's chased home Grey Dawning at Kelso. He's chased home a King George in the jukebox, man. He's not far off the top graded staying chasers at the minute.
No, exactly. So I don't know, it'd be nice maybe if he ran well this year in the National, whether he would next year have a go sort of the Betfred and then go towards the Gold Cup. I don't know. Just at the moment, he's sort of slightly in no man's land. I think he's still well handicapped. I think it's better to stick to handicaps personally. He could go finish a great race and finish 3rd or 4th in the Gold Cup. I think the plan, at the moment is still definitely the National. He seemed to take to it really well last time. Made a couple of mistakes that if he could just iron those out, like Josh said, he seems to be travelling a bit better. He should be able to hold his position a bit better this time. So, just want a nice clean round at Cheltenham and then all set for the National.
And just quickly touch the National. I was at the Grand National weights, and obviously Ben Pauling was accosting the handicapper. The Irish were on to go the handicapper. I thought you guys were quite. We'll keep our counsel, because he looks off a nice weight, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. Obviously, we were slightly frustrated. He'd gone up £2 for being in his stable due to Firefox running so well. But obviously, we sort of felt that it was a long time after Iroko ran at Ascot, so it was a bit unfair. But like you say, I think he's off a nice weight. You can't really complain about that.
And obviously with Kelso in the plan, how much has that kind of changed now? Because we're looking at, 10 days away, so he's prepped for a run. Now he's got to back off him a little bit and maybe get him ripe again.
Yeah, luckily it's actually, because Cheltenham's only 2 weeks later, it's not the end of the world at all. When it's sort of a month, it's a bit annoying that then you would have to back off him, whereas now you'd keep training him and keep building him up for Cheltenham.
And obviously the Kelso race, with the greatest respect, was probably there for easy pickings, and obviously for, it's like a veterans chase now, isn't it? With the 4 that are in there. Having that, what would be a hard race at Cheltenham, you think that's probably going to be positive in terms of sharpening him up for the national? Because he's generally running these small field conditions races the last couple of years.
Well, we were saying that actually, that it probably will do him good to have not like a hard race is going to bottom him out, but to have a proper race in a competitive race, and because for the national you need to be hard fit, and I think a good race 4 weeks before will help bring that along. And also just more experience in a big field.
They're both still relatively young, aren't they, really? And the total amount of times they've ran between them is not super high, is it?
No, exactly. And that's a good thing with Iroko, that obviously the national's been the plan for the last 2 years, so we haven't over-raced him trying to look after him for the national. So he's still quite, like you say, a low-mileage horse, and Jagwar's still young, probably he's the youngest age that can run in the national, so we're lucky to have them both, and they're at a good stage of their careers.
Both sound as well, which I think is great, and a testament to what you gents have done is that they're both festival winners, they're both back with live chances for the festival, they both could have chances in the national, and touch wood, they've both been...
Jaguar's a bigger type, he's a harder horse to train, definitely. But yeah, no, they obviously have their little issues in training sometimes, but yeah, no, they seem to keep them on the road, which is good. But like Iroko, if he went to Kelso tomorrow, it wouldn't have been an easy race. Like Protectorate would have gone off in front, they've got a good clip, like he'd have to chase him down. It's probably not a lot in it, just like Josh says, in a full handicap at Cheltenham. I just think the amount of horses, and it should just sort of teach him and get him spot on ready for the big race.
Protectorate's a sort of weird one to have in there, isn't he? He's not the nicest horse for a prep race as such, if you would call it that, and a tight track, and he'll whiz round there, and it's not, yeah. So, I mean, as I said, you get a crack at Cheltenham as well en route to the national.
And just a word on to JP McManus, having obviously training for him and the success you had with 2 festival winners, both obviously how important is to have him in the yard, and also how important is it for the success that you give him?
It's brilliant. I mean, it gives our other owners so much confidence, and just when you're showing owners around and they see those colours, on the door cards and stuff, it does. You can tell it definitely gives people confidence. But yeah, they're great to train for. Obviously, they just leave us to it. We have a great relationship with Frank Berry, the racing manager, and it's just a chance for us to get those top class horses. We're starting to get owners who spend a bit more money, but a few years ago when they bought them, we didn't have anyone like that. So yeah, it's been good. I know you can get horses at all prices, but it's been just fantastic for our yard.
Yeah, been very lucky.
I'm not going to make you pick. It's like picking your favourite child, okay? But have you envisaged them both jumping the last together?
Not really. I don't know. They are, as you've seen on the gallop this morning, Iroko wouldn't get anywhere near Jaguar on the gallops. Yeah, you get them over 3 miles soft ground, could be a very different thing, but I don't know. I think if they both run over 3 miles, Jaguar will come to 2 out on the bridle probably. Iroko will probably be just off the bridle, and from then on I don't know what would happen, but Iroko's tough and stays really well, and Jaguar's got to prove that he stays that distance, so it's impossible.
I mean, comparisons are bound to happen. You've got 2 horses owned by JP McManus, both Cheltenham Festival winners, both going over 3 miles over fences. People will be saying, oh, how do they compare? And you've told us before, and we've seen today, completely different.
Yeah. They are. They're just different models. Like Iroko's always been very relaxed, just grinds it out. Jaguar's more of a bridle horse, struggles with the jumping a bit more. But yeah, very different horses. They came from the same stud. That's probably the only sort of similarity they have, really. But yeah, they've both got big engines.
And what would it mean? You've got 2 chances. What would it mean for a 3rd festival winner? How much did you enjoy this one?
Can't even really imagine it, but yeah, it'd be epic. I think it'd probably it will get better and better. I think those winners, like you say, you sort of remember how good they were the time before, so it puts a bit more pressure on. That's what everyone's aiming for as a trainer, a jockey in racing, those Cheltenham Festival winners. So,
do you think you're going there with relatively the same amount of confidence as perhaps when Jaguar won beforehand? Do you think this is a trickier assignment for the, I'm talking about both chances, for you to come away with the winner from that race?
Yeah, he's obviously off a higher mark, and the trip's a bit unknown, so those are sort of two unknowns really. But yeah, probably similar. Probably less nervous, to be honest. And because maybe Aintree is the sort of target, maybe this is sort of almost a prep race. But I mean, obviously,
Stepping stone.
I mean, they're fit and ready, and hopefully they can go and win. But it's sort of, I don't know. The Grand National last year, I felt under pressure. I mean, I sort of like almost blurred vision going into Aintree. I don't know that because obviously being local, we got a lot of sort of local news people coming and stuff. That was the most intense I've ever sort of felt before.
With your attachment to Aintree as well, Cheltenham bizarrely is a little bit more relaxing compared to the pressure you put yourself under for Aintree.
Yeah, well, no, not really. I mean, as a trader and anyone in racing, Cheltenham is the place you want to have winners, and it's so important for the business and everything. And, lots of racing people, whereas Aintree's more like people that don't generally watch racing, and like a lot of local people from here will be at Aintree. So I think because we don't live that close to Cheltenham, it's a little bit more detached, whereas Aintree, like, the guy we see in the pub will be there, and, and everyone's talking about it because it's a local and it's a national, so it's just a different sort of feel, really.
You were so unlucky last year. Maybe, I think John got off maybe a year next year looking for the national. Is that kind of thought the Gold Cup this year? I know, Ollie, you've alluded to it. Maybe next year go for the Gold Cup. Do you think that could be a year too soon with the national being the focus?
Yeah, I mean, it's up to the McManus team, but I think you'll get a lot harder race. With Aintree being the target, which has been the target all season, I think going for a Gold Cup now could just give him a hard race, or a harder race than you'd get in a handicap, personally. But yeah, he, like I said, I think just going slightly slower in a handicap will be better.
Happy days.
Happy days. Yeah, well, best of luck, gents. Really, best of luck. Hopefully, we've got a third Cheltenham Festival at Stockton Farm.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Cheltenham Festival is coming up, and I know that plenty of you are seasoned punters, seasoned Cheltenham, you are as well, seasoned Cheltenham Festival goers, but some of our viewers will be new to Cheltenham, maybe new to having a bet at Cheltenham, so just a few pointers that may help you in finding your horses, hopefully finding your winners. Well, Cheltenham, you're going to have plenty of racing across 4 days, so take your time. There'll be graded races and there'll be handicap races. The graded races, typically the horses will carry, so the jockey and all their equipment on their back, the same amount of weight as each other, roughly, which means the best horse wins. Handicaps are slightly different, so look out for them. The better rated horses will carry more weight. The lower rated horses will carry less weight. That's supposed to level the playing fields. Imagine me racing Usain Bolt, but Usain Bolt had to drag a 20-kilo sled. I don't think I'd catch him, but that's the idea. So take a look at graded races versus handicap races. That's something of note. And then how are you going to decide which horse wins? Well, all of the horses heading into the Cheltenham Festival have ran before. So you can take a look at their form. Have they raced over the same distance? Have they raced at Cheltenham before is always a nice pointer. Have they been winning races? Most horses going into the Cheltenham Festival probably have won a race or two because these are the best of the best. So you're looking at what they've done previously and trying to use that as a guide to predict who is going to win. Also, trainers and jockeys, those that are in form, those that typically do well at Cheltenham. Willie Mullins is the great trainer of any race course, but he's won, I think he crossed the 100 Cheltenham Festival winners mark last year or the year before. So he's the top trainer, but Gordon Elliott is also having a great season there. The two Irish trainers of note, Gavin Cromwell, he won the Gold Cup last year. These are names that will come off your race card or your racing post when you're reading it. Also jockeys, well, you can look out for the likes of the riders. Paul Townend, he'll be riding for Willie Mullins. Typically Harry Cobden, he's probably the number one English jockey right now, competing with Sean Byrne, but he's never had a festival winner. Again, names that might just jump off your race card. And also silks, the famous JP McManus silks, for example, are always worth taking note of at the festival. So all sorts to look at. My opinion would be take your time, back a horse that's probably won a race coming into the festival, so they're in good form, and side with a trainer or a jockey that tends to do well. In its simplest form, that might find you a winner. This is Jagwar, a previous Cheltenham Festival winner, and he'll be heading back to the Cheltenham Festival. He's trained by the Greenall Guerriero team here in Malpas. And just before we start talking about him, if he comes and pops his head over here, he is a fine looking horse. If you've never seen a racehorse or come down and given one a stroke, he's massive. The size of his head when he pops his head over, and just look at the size of him here. He's a big old boy. So big, strong, athletic. We've seen him exercise this morning. He travels beautifully. What I mean by that is when he's running, he's really smooth and fluent with how he runs. So as an athlete, he's beautiful. He's a previous Cheltenham Festival winner, and he's going back for more. What's interesting about him is he's predominantly raced over 2.5 miles. When he won the plate at Cheltenham previously, that was over 2.5 miles. This year, and for the first time, he's being stepped up in trips. So he's racing over 3 miles. So he's got an extra 4 furlongs to race. But from what he's shown, how he's raced previously, his trainers think that the trip will be no problem. And sometimes in horse racing, that actually brings out a little bit more improvement in them. When you have a horse, you sort of go through the gears. They start off over hurdles, they start off racing over 2 miles, then they might race over 2.5. Then as they get a bit older and bigger and stronger, they start to jump fences, bigger obstacles. Again, they might start over 2.5 and build their way up to a 3-mile chase. And he actually, if he finishes in the top 4 in the Ultima at Cheltenham, that will qualify him for the Grand National. So again, he'll step up in trip and run in the National. He goes there with a good chance. He is what we, or some may call a bit of a bridle horse, in that he's going to travel beautifully. He's probably going to come to 2 out looking like he's in with a great chance. The question will be, how much does he find when he's asked? But he has been there and done it before. That's Jagwar. This is Iroko. He's a little bit more shy than some. He's just having a look around. Now, he has some good credentials to his name. He's trained by the Greenall Guerriero team here in Malpas. He was 4th in last year's Grand National. So he is a proper tough horse. To be able to come 4th in the National is a huge achievement. And he's also a previous Cheltenham Festival winner over hurdles earlier in his career. So he's won at the Cheltenham Festival, the biggest meeting, the biggest festival of them all, and he's 4th in the Grand National at Aintree, the biggest race of them all. So he's a superstar, and he's going back for more Cheltenham Festival glory. He's going to race in the Ultima, which is a 3-mile handicap chase, and his season was and is still revolving around going back towards the Grand National. He'll have a big chance in this year's Grand National, but connections, JP McManus team, I think things can still change from now to the festival, but have decided he's likely to go and race in the Ultima. So he's going to take his chance in a 3-mile handicap. And why that's interesting is because when a horse gets its official rating, that's going to dictate how much weight they carry in the race, and he will have a big chance off of his current mark. He's been there and done it before over hurdles. He jumps fences brilliantly, hence being able to complete a national. And what's interesting about him, he will look like he's beaten before other horses, but he's got a big heart. So where some horses might travel really well, 2 fences out, you might try and pick out the winner. He will look like he's struggling, but he'll keep on plugging. So he's one really that's a proper fighter. Ultima bound, Cheltenham Festival, then the Grand National. Make sure you cheer him on. He's a lovable horse.